Now at 5, classes begin today for some local colleges and school districts. See how students handled the first day of the new year. Plus, how the Ottawa County Sheriff's Department intends to spend $250,000 grant. And
President Trump and President Zelensky trade pleasantries as they look to iron out an end to Russia's war in Ukraine. I'm Torian Small with the latest on their meeting here at the White House.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
for thousands of area families, summer vacation is officially over. It's back to school time around the 4 states. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Dow Quick. We begin our coverage at Missouri Southern State University, where a lot of students attended their first day of class. Faculty and staff rolled out a warm greeting with a free lunch, games, and more.
Felt like a really long summer where we didn't have anybody here and, just barely seeing any students. So just getting to see them all back on campus and just get back into the swing of things is what's the most exciting.
It's been better than I expected. I was a little nervous this morning, but it was good.
Although a lot of students did seem to enjoy the outdoor activities, some opted to eat indoors just to stay cool. Pittsburgh State University is also welcoming students back to campus today. The Gorillas kicked off a new semester with classes starting this morning. For freshmen, it's their first real taste of college life. For returning students, it's a chance to get back into the swing of things and reconnect on campus.
Expectation for the student body is just to have lots of fun, to win our football games, and to just grow in community with each other.
Students also attended a number of first day festivities around campus. Northeastern Oklahoma students got the opportunity to meet the school's president on their first day of class. The president says enrollment is up this year. We caught up with both the president and students to hear their thoughts and hopes as a new academic year begins.
Students choose NEO because of the connectedness across campus, our faculty and staff that truly care about our students, not only in the classroom but outside of the classroom. That's going to be a focal area this year.
I really like their athletic training program and the way that they help out the kids and reach out to them and stuff.
One thing NEO says they're proud of is their esports department, as they have recently ranked nationally. This is the first day that all students are back in class in Pittsburgh's USD 250 school district. We stopped by West Side Elementary, where teachers and staff welcomed kids and parents. Educators have actually been on the job for a while doing in-service days.
Teachers really start coming in. They're actually here all summer on and off preparing, doing lots of things on their own time, but also just giving professional development for our teachers so that way they're ready for the kids. And then we just really spend a lot of time together team building and preparing for the school year.
Students were welcomed with assemblies throughout the day. The Ottawa County, Oklahoma Sheriff's Department hopes to use a $250,000 grant to make improvements to the agency. The Funding Assistance Grant is a program through the State Attorney General's office. Last week, the Ottawa County Commission voted to approve the Sheriff's Office plans for the grant funds. Sheriff David Dean tells us the agency plans to use the money to replace aging patrol vehicles, have department-issued firearms, and to install 3 license plate readers.
It's absolutely amazing, because without it, we wouldn't be able to buy what we're buying. Because our budget is low. The only thing we can't use this money for is salaries. So any equipment, anything that's broke that we need fixed, we can use it for.
Sheriff says this grant to the department is something they hope to receive every year. Funds from last year were used to purchase things like department stipends and ATVs for responding in more rural parts of the county. Boy, the heat goes on. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy.
Yeah, it turned out to be another hot one outside for us today. Upper 90s once again, just like what we saw as we worked through the weekend. We have 90s all week long. Now, those 90s are going to trend downward, so we're going to get into lower 90s a little bit later on this week, which is good. Chances for rain tomorrow, and then also into Wednesday. 80s, though, next week, which is definitely going to be pretty nice. We do have a few thunderstorms out there southwestern Missouri. These are mainly just east of us, but we can't rule out 1 or 2 random little guys trying to pop up as we go through the evening hours. Let me walk you through time. We get some clouds in here, random shower later on tonight. And then hit-miss scattered thunderstorms, a little bit more widespread tomorrow. Here's 3:30 in the afternoon, another little batch trying to work through as we get into Tuesday evening. So we'll be talking about this here in just a bit.
All right, we'll catch you in a few. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky joined other key European leaders at the White House today for a meeting with President Trump, and with the future of Ukraine hanging in the balance. It follows President Trump's summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin Friday. Tareen Small is at the White House with the latest.
And thank you very much.
President Trump met with Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky at the White House Monday for a high-stakes discussion about ending the war that Russia started 3.5 years ago.
I want to get the war stopped.
President Trump expressed hope that Monday's meeting will lead to talks with all three leaders, something Russian President Vladimir Putin has so far resisted, but Zelensky has been pushing.
This is a good signal about Israel. I think this is very good.
The meeting follows President Trump's summit with Putin in Alaska Friday. Before that meeting, Trump had threatened severe consequences for Russia if there wasn't a ceasefire, but he backed off of that threat after the talks.
We can work a deal where we're working on a peace deal while they're fighting.
Among the main issues, what happens to about 20% of Ukrainian territory Russian troops currently control? President Trump also met Monday with key European leaders who, like Ukraine, want a deal that includes security guarantees so Putin doesn't launch another invasion in a few years.
During the Oval Office meeting, President Trump said any peace would have to be long-term and pledged U.S. support.
This is very long term. We're not talking about a 2-year peace and then we end up in this mess again. When it comes to security, there's going to be a lot of help. It's going to be good. They are first line of defense because they're there. They're Europe. But we're going to help them out also. We'll be involved.
As the diplomacy continues, Russia keeps pounding Ukraine with missile and drone strikes. Ukraine says at least 10 people were killed overnight, including a small child. Torian Small, CBS News, the White House.
Nearly 70% of Ukrainians now support a negotiated peace deal, according to a recent poll. That's up from just over 20% at the beginning of the invasion. Ahead, even whales sometimes need surgery, but anesthesia can be a challenge. We'll see how it's done coming up. Plus, your personality type can be an indicator of your risk for certain mental health problems. Those stories next in Health Watch. Topping today's Health Watch, new research about the long-term health impact of COVID-19. A study published in the European Heart Journal suggests COVID can age blood vessels, causing them to become stiffer and raising the risk of heart attack and stroke. The study found even people who had mild cases of COVID had stiffer blood vessels. Thousands of children facing a mental health crisis aren't getting the help they need. An Oregon Health and Science University study found many children who go to the ER for depression or attempted suicide end up stuck in the ER for days. Researchers say these children should be placed in inpatient care or an appropriate residential facility, but there's often no available room, highlighting the need for more resources. People with sensitive personalities are much more likely to face mental health problems like depression and anxiety. Research from Queen Mary University of London study defined sensitivity as someone who's more affected by things like bright lights, changes in the environment, or other people's moods. While sensitive people face higher levels of mental health issues, they also could get more benefit from relaxation and mindfulness exercises. A beluga whale at Chicago's Shedd Aquarium became the first known whale of its kind to go under general anesthesia for surgery. Reporter Bradley Blackburn tells us it took a team of 30 veterinarians and technicians to pull it off.
12-year-old beluga whale Kimalu needed surgery to remove cysts from her head and neck.
We just wanted to make sure that while it was still actively growing, before it got too big, we could take out as much as possible to reduce any chance of it kind of invading into the space of the blowhole.
Dr. Carissa Tang and a team of more than 24 veterinarians and technicians at Chicago's Shedd Aquarium performed the groundbreaking procedure while using general anesthesia.
We took her out of the water in a sling and then administered injections and put in an IV catheter, just like you would in a human, and then provided ventilation for her. So when she was asleep, we put a breathing tube in and provided that ventilation of her lungs to keep her nice and safe.
General anesthesia is especially complicated for beluga whales because of their size and unique physiology. The operation on the 1,000-plus pound whale was no easy feat, but it brought Kimalu relief.
One of the remarkable things is that she successfully recovered, which is the first time that we know of that that's happened, and we're just thrilled.
To reverse the anesthesia, doctors used several strategies, including speaking to Kimalu and playing recordings of the aquarium's beluga pod.
She's eating very well, and she sees the doctor every day, sometimes twice a day. We're hoping that this treatment means for her that she can live a long quality of great life.
And Kimalu's team is hopeful that she is already making great progress in her recovery. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Under human care, a beluga whale like Kimalu can live to about the age of 30. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, tips for stretching your back-to-school shopping budget.
And our temperatures are still hot, but we're going to cool down a little bit. We're going to talk about that here coming up next. Well, of course, another hot one outside for us today, just like what we saw in the second half last week and then into the weekend. The change is going to be we have some rain chances as we go through the next couple days, which is nice to see. It's dry out there. It's crispy. We could use a little bit of rain. Any showers, any thunderstorms out there right now, mainly south central Missouri, and these are pretty much going to die off over the next couple hours, but we can't rule out one or two isolated little guys kind of popping up once you get into extreme southwestern Missouri. Besides that, most of us are going to stay dry as we go through the evening hours, but we have some better chances kind of moving in as we get into the next day or so. We're going to get some clouds in here, so let's go to about 5:30 in the morning. One or two random showers may try to pop up, but you can see some hit and miss guys. So here's mid to late morning. We're looking at 11 a.m. across southeastern Kansas into northeastern parts of Oklahoma, and just hit and miss guys throughout the day. It's not going to be widespread, but they're going to be out there. So we're going to have hit and miss guys. Here's 2, 3, 4 p.m. Some thunderstorms trying to pop up. Here's 6 p.m. So hopefully at your house, you'll get a little bit of much needed rain. Again, we're not in a bad drought or anything, but it's definitely dry out there. Still a few random pop-up guys tomorrow night, and then as we go into Wednesday, they kind of pop up again during the afternoon. Not as numerous on Wednesday as what we are going to see as we go into the daytime hours tomorrow. So rainfall amounts are going to be hard to kind of figure out who's going to get the rain because it's going to be scattered. But what this map shows you is there is potential to get a quarter, maybe a half an inch if you get stuck underneath some of those storms. 76 to start, 90 by noon. High temp 96, which is hot, but a little better than what we were seeing today. Looks great, nice shot. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort just outside of Seneca, Missouri. Through the evening, you got 90s, 80s, eventually into the 70s later on tonight. Well, look at this. I mean, it's 101 in Miami. It's 99 Anderson, Pittsburgh, 97 in Carthage, Nowata 97. It's just downright hot across the region. Plus, we have the humidity. Look at our dew points, low to mid 70s. So what this means for you is it makes it feel like it's muggy to soupy across the region. We're going to see that again as we go into Tuesday. Those heat indices, 100, 105, 106. That's why we are under a heat advisory. They do back off quite a bit by the time we head into Wednesday afternoon. So here's our big dome of high pressure, but we're getting some waves that kind of rotate around that high pressure, which is good, and that's what's going to give us at least some rain chances. We have Hurricane Aaron, Category 4, out across the Atlantic. Thankfully, Aaron is going to stay just east of the eastern seaboard, but it makes a close call to North Carolina, so there are going to get some outer bands in there. We actually have another hurricane next week, and that could be really the first landfall in the lower 48. For us, for the rest of the week, look at this. By Thursday, we're looking at high temperatures right around 90 degrees, which is well-deserved. 96 on your Tuesday, 93 on Wednesday, 91 Thursday, 92s Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But look at the 80s. I mean, it's still a week away, but they're in there.
Doesn't that sound refreshing?
It sounds great.
When we're talking about dropping down to the lower 90s, that's pretty bad.
It's been hot. Yeah.
Thanks, Doug. Coming up, the latest on an air strike impacting more than 100,000 travelers per day. Topping today's Consumer Watch, the Canada Industrial Relations Board today declared the strike by 10,000 Air Canada and Air Canada Rouge flight attendants illegal. Ordered them back on the job after they ignored an earlier order to return to work and submit to arbitration. The strike at Canada's largest airline entered its third day today and is affecting about 130,000 travelers per day during this peak summer travel season. The two sides remain far apart on pay and issues, reportedly. Air Canada suspended plans to restart operations yesterday after the union defied the earlier return to work order. Air Canada says it's offering customers options including full refunds, credit toward future travel, as well as rebooking services to other airlines. Tariffs are pushing up prices on some academic year staples. Reporter Kelly O'Grady has your guide to cutting the cost of back-to-school supplies.
From dorm decor to laptops to pencils and backpacks, families are feeling the back-to-school pinch. K-12 families are expected to spend $858 on average this year. 74% of consumers say they're shopping earlier because of tariffs, with an uptick in families hunting for sales and shopping at discount stores.
People are worried about being able to afford the things they need for school.
Shopping and lifestyle expert Trey Baj says retailers are trying to lure shoppers with bargains.
So what are some of the deals that we're seeing here?
So at Target, we have 50-cent erasers, 35-cent notebooks, and they brought back their $5 backpacks from last year.
$5?
Isn't that cute?
It's not just Target. Walmart has scientific calculators starting at $10, school uniform polos for $4, and a lunch meal for under $2 a day. Office Depot has notebooks, crayons, and glue sticks starting at 50 cents. Staples has folders for 25 cents, pencils for 50 cents, and binders for $2. Don't forget to price compare even while you shop, especially for big ticket items.
This is priced here at $269. When I scanned it on the Target app, it's $219. And they'll honor this price.
I mean, that's a savings of $50.
Yeah, that's huge.
While Target and Walmart will only price match from their own website, Office Depot, Staples, and Best Buy will price match competitors.
When it comes to electronics, especially since so much of them are imported, what's your advice?
I would look for sales, of course, and then also consider refurbished. A lot of retailers offer refurbished items that also come with a warranty, and that's a really good option if you're looking to save.
For older kids, a life lesson about saving.
A really good way to manage your budget and manage their spending is to give them a gift card. So they will be much more careful spending their money versus your money.
And for college kids, talk to roommates before move-in day to decide on shareables for common areas, including dishes, a coffee maker, and cleaning supplies. And many retailers, including Apple and IKEA, offer college student discounts.
Remember, your savings should actually start before you hit the stores. Check your inventory at home to make sure you're not spending money on something you already own. And also check out Buy Nothing groups on social media for freebies and team up with other families to make purchases in bulk. Kelly O'Grady, CBS News, New York.
Experts also recommend saving some money for clothes to use after school starts. So if kids see something they like on their classmates, well, the parents still have a budget for shopping. A final check of the forecast up next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, a Georgia football team proves success is not measured by just what you do, but how you recover. Then on KOAM News at 6, a fatal crash involving an Oklahoma Turnpike Authority worker near Miami. Plus, more on how staff and students are handling this first day of class at area colleges and public schools, and a preview of Pitt State volleyball. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. Yes, it's hot out there. Yes, it's been dry out there. There's a chance of a few pop-up showers.
Yeah, we could get some scattered thunderstorms for us tomorrow. That's going to be our best shot, at least this week. Still a couple random ones on Wednesday. It stays hot all week, but temperatures at least looking a little better. Once we get into late week, high temps into lower 90s.
Yeah, we expect hot in August around here, just not, 96 degrees plus, please. Thanks for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next. Of course, we're going to be right back here for KOAM News at 6. We'll see you then. Let's make it a great evening.